Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can never think of a time where you could say one coin in crypto could net an investor a safe 5x and another investor in the same coin a safe 40x. Normally, those two things don't cross over. You have to buy a coin for a 5x and a coin for a 40x. However, whether you've heard of Mina or Mina Protocol 1,000 times, or this is the first time you're hearing about this project, I want to take you through the reasons why this can be one of those very few instances that can do both of those things in one. Now, look, again, don't take my word for it, guys. You know how I roll on this channel. I'm going to present all the information for you, black and white data. Go ahead and take this, do your own research, and make an educated decision yourself. But I want you to remember, if you do enjoy the content or learn something new today, help support my work by dropping a like on the video. But importantly, I want you to subscribe so that you can achieve your crypto goals. So give me the time of day to explain what Mina is and why it is so unique and really could be ultimately the best play in your portfolio for the bull run if you decide to pick it up. Now, I'm not forcing you to. I do talk highly of Mina, but as you'll see in a moment, that is for a very, very good reason. So if you don't know what Mina Protocol is, all you have to know for now is it's a layer 1 blockchain focusing on these things called ZKPs or zero knowledge proofs, but it does so in a way no other project in crypto has done ever. It's at the forefront of this massive narrative in the industry, which is why we have to be focusing on it if you want to be exposed to the ZKP narrative. But they're doing a lot more than that, as we'll see momentarily. There's 3 prongs that I want to really attack in this video because ultimately speaking, Mina is hitting these on the head, but these are actually some of the most important things as a crypto investor you have to know. Now, there's plenty of information thrown around on the crypto YouTube side of things and even crypto Twitter, but you might be an investor thinking to yourself, what really matters? Now, I've spent probably close to 10,000 hours, at least over 7,000 hours of researching in this space, researching too much into the wrong areas, only to find that these 3 things right here matter absolutely the most, which is why I'm focusing on them specifically for all my coins and Mina today. The first one in orange is the meme, or what makes it so unique or one of a kind. The next is the narratives. When and why will it pop off at a given time, which usually causes its all-time high big peak. And green is any sort of huge rev-up events, or what I call the popularity score. What's going to give it some sort of eyes and momentum in the grand scheme of things to get people wanting to buy the project. So these 3 things are going to underpin today's video. But I get it. You're probably thinking to yourself, Kyron, in the intro, you said it could get an investor a 5 to 40x, right? In this case, a 15 or 40x, whatever, right? And so the really reason why I want to talk to you about that today and kind of break it down further is because people like looking for a 40x, they might look for coins that are in low market cap projects. They might look for 100 mil market caps and lower, okay? And that's obviously not safe. In the same regard, you might have someone wanting a 5 or a 10 or a 15x, and they can't afford to look for a higher market cap coin because these are ones that are less risky, but also provide less rewards. So they gravitate towards those to secure the gains. And I think Mina can give you both. So like I just said moments ago, market cap, at least as of making this video, was 1.3 billion with the price of $1.30. That's with the current supply of 1 billion tokens. Now, to achieve this goal of a 15x, the market cap will have to go to $19.5 billion. And again, the price would be $15. And over here on the high side of 40x would be a 52 billion market cap project with a $40 token price. That's also including the expected inflation of about 300 million tokens between now and then. Is this Moonboy math? You're talking about Moonboy multiples. I think these coins are going to 5x. Most people who haven't been around in the bull run undershoot themselves dramatically. You also don't want to overshoot. That probably is a lot worse than undershooting yourself, but give it time to breathe. Understand that we have already in the market gained $1 trillion in like 3 months. $1 trillion. We haven't even had the halving yet, all right? So just understand the best is yet to still come. So really, is it Moonboy math or is it legit? Well, let's figure it out. Mina has gone from back in October when we had a global market cap of about $1 trillion, and it was about a 0.034% market dominance. That means that out of the 1 trillion market cap size, Mina had 0.034% of that, which meant the market cap was roughly speaking about 300 million. Well, in the period of about a few months, right? So October to today, it basically doubled, right? It went from 0.034 to 0.064 at today, which again, the market cap has also doubled as well. So that is a very good sign to see. What we're pretty much saying here is Mina isn't just moving with the market. What moving with the market looks like is maintaining your market dominance. Mina is outpacing the market. Even the market 2x, okay, Mina also actually doubled that, okay? It's like exponential returns. So this is a very good sign to see because a project like Solana and Chainlink, these are the ones also sitting around this market dominance growth as well. Yes, the price for Mina like 5 or 6x in this period, but the market dominance tells us that it's actually beating and holding the market, which is a much better indicator than market cap growth. And so we can kind of extrapolate this and to cut a very, very long story short into 3 distinct areas. What will be the worst case for Mina Protocol, the average case, and the absolute best case for not just the project, but the global market cap, right? So 3.2 trillion, 6.5 trillion, and 10 trillion market caps. And what happens to Mina if it stays the same in this regard, so it doesn't gain any more market dominance? Again, that's not technically a bad thing. It's just holding itself steady. But just understand projects, when they have their big all-time highs, they don't all happen at once. So a group of projects, they all have their sort of market dominance growth really peaking at that time as well, okay, versus the rest of the market. So what we're really saying here is this is the worst case. Again, 5xing is the average case because that's a pretty well standard of most projects. So what we do at this point is take the global market cap and multiply it by that percentage, which gives us Mina's market cap at these 3 levels, work the average out, 29 billion, multiply by the future supply, and that gives us a price of $22.30. Now, remember, back up here, this is actually more than a 15x. It's not quite the 52 billion market cap we're chasing, but this is just market dominance. A big problem a lot of the guys that follow me very exclusively and that are in the private community find when they look at my price prediction sheet is they take that as my personal price prediction or the bee's knees. No, this is just going off somewhat recent and old data to forecast what might happen. The data can't say what the project's been working on behind the scenes. It is just a rough forecast, which is why I think this is a very, very good benchmark. I think it's going to be around this and more. One thing you might be asking yourself before we get into the crux of it is what about inflation? 300 million tokens or 30% of the entire supply is coming out between now and then. That's kind of bad. Well, no, we've disproven this on the channel many, many times before. It is a massive fallacy. When tokens are entered into circulation, it doesn't always mean that it's going to impact the price. We've covered this many, many times on the channel. It's not when the tokens are unlocked, it's only who they're unlocked to. Because if I unlock in my Chiron coin today, if I unlock double my supply, if I had 1 million tokens out and I double that to 2 million today, but I hold those tokens, the price isn't going to drop. The price will only drop if I sell those tokens to different people on the open market. Okay, so that's what we're looking for in this case. So the extra 300 million tokens are actually mainly going to the inflationary rewards. So validators securing the network, okay? They're not going to be dumped on the open market at once, which means we're not going to have a dump in the token price. It'll just simply be reflected as the market cap growing when they're unlocked. They're in the hands of people. That means the market cap's growing. They just aren't being sold. How we check this is, of course, going through the vesting schedule, looking at where we are right now, what the rough circulating supply should be, where it will be in the time of Q4 2025, and what is growing in this period of time. Notably, that this point I've marked over here is actually what Mina forecasted their distribution to be like in about March of 2025. So not quite when we probably will look to sell, but roughly speaking, this is what it'll look like. I wanted to point this out because you don't find very many projects like Mina Protocol that give you such a complicated, not complicated, but I guess broken down, robust tokenomics schedule. And this is a testament to the project being very open, okay? It's not a project that's shady. They've literally done even more than what's recommended because they've given us the breakdown of the supply and the distribution at, again, in 2025, okay? So we kind of look at this, we kind of break it apart. Who is likely to sell? Of course, the backers and the core contributors. These guys are mostly likely to sell. The community to some degree as well, but it's not broken up in a really concerning way, and we can figure out how much, these guys will be in the multiples, or at least of right now. And so we can begin finding this information out, okay? It doesn't take much. Of course, you're here to listen to me break it all down for you. And so what I'm trying to say is there is nothing concerning here. Just like any project, we're going to have some selling, people are going to take profits, and these investors will likely haven't really sold too much from their, the last cycle. So yes, we can expect some sell-offs, but I don't think in terms of the growth of the project, we're going to have a substantial sell-off. It's not as though there's only 2 investors selling all at once. There's many, many investors selling in different periods. So when to buy it? Well, if you're asking yourself, okay, this all sounds great, I'm looking forward to his points in a second, but, do I buy this project right now? Well, assess 2 things, your risk and your reward. Like I said, Mina is great because it actually fits into a really unique area where it actually is low risk and also high reward, okay? What am I talking about? Well, as I explained on the channel, what you want to do as very foundations, ideally before you even buy any projects, is break them apart based on their risk and how much risk you can tolerate yourself. I speak to guys with multi-millions coming in just wanting a 5x. They have very, low risk standards, but they also have low reward standards, so they can fit into these areas over here, the high market cap projects. And I talk to DJs all the time that want the higher risk, but also higher reward. And sometimes, like myself, we have people that want a mesh between, that want to kind of offset this and that. And so Mina actually is unique because it fits in between this mid-risk high reward and low-risk mid-reward. And that pretty well means anywhere between a 100 mil to 1 billion market cap project up to a 1 billion to 25 billion. So here's some coins to give you a rough example. And again, it fits right in the middle, okay? Now, typically, I would get you guys to group in your projects into one distinct area. But from the research I've done with Mina, I can firmly classify it as a bit of both, okay? Because it is a very explosive project, as we'll see momentarily. I actually think that buying down here is pretty well going to be a no-go. I think a strong level of support is at $1. It really hasn't fallen beneath $1 and holding steady. So in my personal opinion, I think a really good buy zone is between $1.25 and $1. As we know, we're kind of pushing that right now. And again, I wouldn't hope for anything lower than $1. So it's one of a kind. But what do I really mean by that? Well, look, I've done many videos on the channel actually, and I started making these way back in July of 2022. Actually, I think I made one even a year before this. I was talking about this when it first launched, actually. But this video was a great example. If you guys want to watch it, I might even leave it down below. But I do think I do a great job of explaining how it actually works. And to cut a long story short, basically, the project maintains a constant size of 22 kilobytes, which is equal to 11 photos. Like, these are just photos of cryptocurrencies. So it's very, very small. And the reason why it stays at 22 kilobytes in size is because it runs a normal blockchain, right? And this is a blockchain here producing blocks one after the next. But what it does is it takes a snapshot of each and every single block and everything before that block, and it creates these snapshots, right? And these snapshots basically contain the snapshot of all the snapshots before that and then all before that. So if you can kind of think about it, essentially, if you want to, materialize what this means, is you basically have 1 million photos in the block that is number 1 million, okay? So, for example, block 22 billion would have 21,999,000,000, so on and so forth. It's pretty well snapshots inside of it, right? It's taking a snapshot of a snapshot of a snapshot, kind of like I try to describe in this video where I'm taking constant photos of myself in a very awkward fashion, and then pretty well describing that it's all of those things in one snapshot, which is how it's able to say that it's able to stay at 22 kilobytes in size. If you can take a photo of 1 million photos, it's only going to be the size of that one photo, which is amazing. And it all comes down to their technology using ZKPs, again, zero-knowledge proofs, in these things called ZK snarks. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. It might confuse you guys, and I think I'd actually dive into that a little bit more in this video as well. Now, if we compare this to other blockchains, they are well and truly bigger than 300 gigabytes in size. And this is one of the reasons why the narrative of data availability, like Celestia, like we're seeing with other projects out there, Mina Protocol's offering this, that allows these blockchains or layer 2s to offload all of this heavy computational and storage stuff, off to different nodes, okay? Because if you have a blockchain that is 300 gigabytes in size, that means the minimum requirement to become a node, you have to, at least no matter how fast your computer is, you have to be able to download all of that. And it's called the state of the network, okay? And so being 22 kilobytes in size, you kind of get rid of the need to condense who can become a node. And now anyone can become a node. Matter of fact, you can even run a node on the damn internet via your phone. Okay, a full node that covers everything. So it's amazing. It's groundbreaking. And we are in the early phases right now. But again, over the next 2 years, it's going to get quite insane. So this is why I say it is one of a kind. There's many more aspects. We're going to get into those in just a moment that really can leverage this amazing feature. But before we get into those features, 2025 narratives, the reason it's important, and like I kind of outlined in this, is because this is what creates the project's all-time high. We'll talk about popularity in a second. We've spoken about the meme, okay, what makes it unique, which gives the project that really big pump factor. But what brings the money into it to make people want to actually buy it, to make it pump even more? Well, again, it's things like the narrative and popularity. So the narrative is when we sell. It's the main sort of all-time high. I've done lots of research on this, and you can go back into previous videos and watch these things. And I've identified basically the biggest narratives that Mina Protocol has. Now, there is 9 total narratives, which is a top tier thing in of itself. You don't find many projects that have this many narratives, but 5 primary narratives that they're really known for, okay? And this is kind of where we want to more so focus. These are modularity, Web3 layer 1, ZKPs, Oracle, and privacy. It's also likely going to be known for as these events that I'm going to talk about in a minute here come out and they are released. Interoperability is one, connection with Ethereum and other projects in the space. A layer 2, it's going to offer, of course, a layer 2 ecosystem, but not just on Mina, a layer 2 ecosystem that can be built on Mina that leverages Ethereum, okay? Also app chain, so there's a whole new project actually building on Mina right now that allows an app chain or a layer 3 environment. And also digital ID, they're currently working on a whole digital passport to be used across blockchains in a ZKP way, which, by the way, I haven't really addressed this, but ZKPs, zero knowledge proofs, allow me, as let's just say an application built on Mina, to know that you are the person you say you are without you actually showing me any actual documents. So you can prove to me that you are John Doe without showing me your passport, which means that this is going to be able to unlock these amazing KYC features to bring on the institutional customers without you feeling like you're violated or you're losing your privacy, which is a big part of crypto. And so let's get to the juicy part. What are the huge events coming up on the horizon, which will again fall back into this popularity aspect here, which gives the coin more triggers to be able to sell. The first of 4 is ZK-powered apps. This is basically going to allow applications to be built on Mina powered by zero knowledge proofs, which will allow a whole host of amazing benefits, okay? So let me read you the actual event here on their roadmap. Full ZK programmability available for Mina, including native privacy, scaling, recursion, and easy to program primitives such as ZK rollups and privacy pools. So it's not just, of course, for the obvious things like using it for documents and all that sort of stuff, but also allowing people to use it to, cover things like liquidity pools so that no one can sort of cheat the system and you don't have people arbitraging, for example. And like I said and shown you guys many times on the channel before, this is the layer 1 flywheel, which pretty well depicts the natural progression a project has to follow in order to be a viable working product. And what we can see here is Mina focusing on the last 2 things, which is the most important 2 things, because this is what actually makes a solid project in perpetuity, which is, of course, bringing on applications, allowing developers to build on the network. And we can go into all day about these things, bringing on the ZK EVM, allowing interoperability to happen between Mina and also other networks as well. This will all come when this is enabled. So big things are coming, not just in the actual event itself, it's what happens after. And I know there's going to be a massive growth in demand because have a look at what happened with Manta Network. Manta is a layer 1 and layer 2, but they had a massive demand in projects on the back end once they had their application layer available. Now this one's big. It's the ZK Oracle, right? Basically allowing anything to be pulled from the internet, as long as it's on HTTPS, which is everything on the internet, it can pull it into Mina, which pretty well means that we can connect anything to this network, okay? There's going to be a whole host of possibilities. Let me read this very quickly out because it's going to pretty well summarize everything I need to say here. Public data can be moved on-chain by checking the web page signature provided by HTTPS. A Snap or a ZK app, right, one of these applications on Mina, can ensure it is working with the latest price as provided by a particular trusted site or set of sites with no changes on those sites. And so those sites don't know a single thing about these things. They're just getting data pulled in. And as a project built on Mina that wants the absolute best price and most accurate price, you can pull this from multiple sources. Contrast this to how existing Oracle systems like Chainlink work. They are centralized and you're limited to the data and the sources of the Oracle network integrates with. A developer also can't choose what data they want to use. They're just given, use these price feeds and that's all you have. Well, Mina says, you guys pick what you want to have and pull it from the internet, okay? This is a powerful way we can bridge the real world and cryptocurrency without requiring anything different from the web pages we already use. Again, anything online. You know, it's just really unfathomable what might actually come from this. Mina, you have the data online, you pull it in. It's private, secure, and limitless. You can pick whatever you want. It's ZKPs, it's private and secure. Whereas most of these Oracle networks right now, these data providers pull in the data that they want to pull in or are asked to pull in, and then they provide it in one way or the next to one of these providers. Number 3, the ZK Bridge, right? The ZK Bridge will enable Ethereum and other EVM-based applications to leverage Mina's ZK apps. Basically, you have this very seamless integration between Ethereum and other, EVM applications or, networks, even like Hedera, for example, that can leverage the applications in a privacy way on Mina. So you don't have to have these ZKPs built into other networks. And we know they're working on this quick smart because we had an update here on the 5th of February this year, so about a few weeks ago, that pretty much again touches on those 2 points as well. So when you pair this with the ZK app upgrade, it's going to drive Mina's use cases up dramatically. And number 4 is modularity, right? Applications on Mina can choose to get their security from Ethereum, like we have seen, of course, with Celestia and Mina Protocol, right, offering a data availability layer, offering a settlement layer, or basically modularizing the blockchain stack. Well, of course, Mina can let you do that by running everything on Mina, but then settling all those transactions over on Ethereum for, of course, that increase in security. So it's hitting a lot of narratives. And guys, I touched on only a few use cases here. There's millions, there's tons. You can just, whatever you really think of, the fact that it allows privacy-enabled applications to be built in a very fast way, and you can leverage anything from the internet, there's going to be some really awesome features here that you can even implement with your bank, for example. Like, it can be endless. And so because it's endless and because there's so many upgrades coming out, I think for you as someone who is invested in Mina or of course wants to, know when things happen and are up to speed with the project, go follow Community. He was actually able to help me out quite a lot with this video and provide me the up-to-date information on the project. And look, without him and without people like this, who are those guys who are fully involved in a single project, this is going to cut down your research time insanely in the bull run. Thank you for watching this video the whole way through. And for those who haven't heard about Mina before, opening your horizons, kudos to you because people are pretty well closed off in this industry. So with that being said, thank you again. Talk to you soon. Take care.